Let me ask you something. Why are you still waiting? Why are you still sitting on that idea, that business, that dream? You know what I'm talking about. That thing that keeps you up at night, the thing you keep saying you'll start someday. Let me tell you the truth. Someday is a lie. It's the greatest illusion keeping you broke, stuck, and frustrated. Right now, at this very moment, there are people less talented than you with fewer resources making millions, not because they're smarter, not because they're luckier, but because they did one thing. You know what it is? They bet on themselves. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait to feel ready. They didn't wait for someone to come along and say, hey, it's your turn. They made it their turn. So the real question is, are you willing to do the same? Because if you don't, someone else will. Someone else will launch that business. Someone else will take that risk. Someone else will live the life you were meant to live. And if you don't wake up, 10 years from now, you'll be looking at someone who made it happen and saying, that could have been me. You don't want that. You didn't come this far to play it safe. You didn't come this far to stay small. You came here to win, and winning starts with this. It starts when you decide right now that you're done waiting. That from this moment forward, you bet on yourself, no matter what. Decisions create wealth, not excuses. Most people believe success comes from intelligence, connections, or luck. That's a lie. The real difference between those who build wealth and those who struggle? Decisions. Every single moment you are making choices that shape your future. You either make decisions that push you forward or excuses that hold you back. Look at any self-made millionaire or billionaire. They weren't born knowing how to build an empire. They weren't handed a playbook. What they did was decide to take action, decide to keep going when it got tough, decide that failure wasn't the end, but part of the process. Excuses are the easy way out. I don't have the right idea. Now's not the right time. I don't have the money. All of these are justifications for inaction, and inaction is the killer of wealth. You don't need permission. You don't need everything figured out. What you need is to decide to start, to commit, to move forward with what you have where you are. People who stay broke spend their lives waiting. They wait for the economy to improve. They wait for someone to believe in them. They wait for the right opportunity. But the truth is, waiting is a decision too. It's a decision to stay the same. Look at the most successful entrepreneurs. They didn't sit around waiting for the perfect moment. They saw an opportunity and they jumped. They adjusted as they went. They failed, learned, and kept going. If you want to build wealth, you have to stop overthinking and start doing. Think about the people you admire, those who've built something from nothing. The only difference between them and you, they made the tough calls. They faced uncertainty and still moved forward. The decision to take the leap, to act without all the answers, is what separates those who build wealth from those who dream about it. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Most people won't make bold decisions because they don't want discomfort. They don't want risk. But let's be clear, there is no wealth without risk. Every successful person has faced doubt, fear, and resistance. The difference? They chose action over hesitation. If you want to change your financial future, it starts with one thing, a decision to stop making excuses, a decision to stop blaming the economy, your upbringing, or your circumstances, a decision to take control, take risks, and take action. Stop telling yourself stories that keep you small. Stop waiting for permission. Stop hesitating. Decide to move, decide to build, decide to commit no matter what stands in your way. A job pays, a calling transforms. A job is what you do to survive. A calling is what you do to thrive. The difference between the two? Passion, purpose, and impact. If you're trading your time for a paycheck and nothing more, you're stuck in survival mode. You may be comfortable, but you're not growing, you're not building, and you're definitely not unlocking your full potential. Wealth isn't built on punching a clock, it's built on obsession. The most successful people in the world don't work, they live their mission. They're not counting hours, they're chasing impact. That's the key difference between people who make money and people who create wealth. When you're stuck in a job, you're selling your time. And time is the most valuable asset you have. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. The richest people in the world understand this. That's why they don't settle for a paycheck. They build something bigger than themselves. The moment you shift from what pays the bills to what changes the game, that's when you start building real success. Money follows value, and the biggest value comes from solving problems, creating impact and doing something that matters. That's why finding your calling isn't just about passion. It's about service. It's about contribution. It's about doing something so powerful that people can't ignore you. Most people settle for a job because it's easy, it's predictable, it's safe, but safe never leads to wealth. Safe keeps you trapped in the cycle of working for someone else's dream while yours fades into the background. You weren't born to clock in, pay bills, and die. You were born to build, create, and make a difference. If you look at the wealthiest people, they didn't chase money. They chased meaning. They found something they could dedicate their life to. They got obsessed. They didn't care about weekends, vacations, or retirement because they loved what they did. That's the difference between a job and a calling. The truth is, you have a choice. You can keep trading time for money, working for someone else's vision, or you can take control and create something that matters. You can find the thing that excites you, scares you, and pushes you to grow. That's what leads to real success. Too many people spend their lives stuck in jobs they hate because they're afraid to take the leap. They stay in the comfort zone while their dreams die inside them. But the people who make an impact, they don't settle. They don't accept good enough. They go all in on their purpose. If you're not excited about your work, you'll never be great at it. You'll never go the extra mile. You'll never push through when things get hard. That's why people who follow their calling always win. They have an unstoppable drive that average people don't. When you find your calling, work isn't work anymore. It's a mission. It's something you do even if you weren't getting paid. And ironically, that's exactly why you'll make more money than you ever imagined, because you'll be delivering insane value, solving massive problems, and creating something the world actually needs. So the question is, are you working a job or answering a calling? If it's just a job, it's time to make a change. Find something bigger. Find something that makes you come alive, because the people who change the world, the people who build empires, they're not just working, they're building legacies. Speed beats perfection. Most people fail because they wait too long. They sit on an idea, overanalyze, and convince themselves they need more time, more planning, more resources. But time is your enemy when it comes to success. While you're stuck in getting ready mode, someone else is out there executing. They're taking action, they're making moves, and guess what? They're winning. Perfection is a lie. It's a trap that keeps people stuck in fear. They tell themselves they'll start when they have the perfect plan, the perfect skills, the perfect team, but perfection never comes. And while they wait, opportunities slip away, markets shift, someone else moves faster. Speed is the single greatest advantage you can have. The person who moves first wins. The person who takes action learns. The person who fails fast improves. If you're not willing to move quickly, you're already losing, because while you hesitate, the people who take imperfect action are already 5 steps ahead. Every successful entrepreneur, every game changer, every industry leader has one thing in common. They execute fast. They don't waste time. They don't get caught in overthinking. They make a decision, take action, and adjust as they go. They launch before they feel ready. They put themselves out there even when it's messy, because they know that momentum beats hesitation every single time. Most people think success is about having the best idea. It's not. It's about being the first to act, the first to test, the first to put something into the world and learn from it. Ideas are worthless without action. Everyone has ideas. The difference is who executes and who doesn't. People who wait for perfection are scared. They don't want to look stupid. They don't want to make mistakes. They don't want to fail. But here's the truth. Failure is part of success. It's unavoidable. And the faster you fail, the faster you learn, adapt, and win. The world rewards speed. Think about technology. Think about innovation. The companies that dominate are the ones that move fast. They don't wait until their product is flawless. They launch, get feedback, and improve. They iterate, they evolve. And that's why they stay ahead. Waiting is the most expensive mistake you can make. Waiting costs you opportunities. It costs you momentum. It costs you time you will never get back. The people who build wealth, they don't wait for conditions to be perfect. They create momentum by moving forward now. If you're hesitating, ask yourself why. Is it because you actually need more preparation, or is it because you're afraid? Be honest, because most of the time fear is what's holding you back. Fear of looking bad, fear of failure, fear of criticism, but none of that matters. What matters is execution. The people who win are the ones who take action while others are still thinking about it. They start messy. They learn fast. They don't let fear slow them down, because they know that in the game of success, Speed beats perfection every single time. Fail fast, keep swinging. Most people are terrified of failure. They think failure is the end. They think it means they aren't good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. But failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the path to success. The fastest way to win is to fail as many times as possible, as quickly as possible. Every successful person has failed repeatedly. The difference is they don't stop. They don't let failure define them. They see it as feedback. They learn, adapt, and try again. They keep swinging even when they miss, because they know that the only way to lose is to quit. Most people let failure break them. They take one hit, one rejection, one setback, and they retreat. They tell themselves it wasn't meant to be. They give up on their dreams because they can't handle the pain of falling short. But the truth is, failure is the greatest teacher. It shows you what doesn't work. It reveals your weaknesses. It forces you to grow. The people who win don't fear failure. They chase it. They know that every failure brings them closer to success. They know that every no gets them one step closer to a yes. They don't take failure personally. They take it as data. They take it as a lesson. And then they adjust, improve, and go again. Think about sports. A baseball player who hits 0.3 is considered elite. That means they fail 70% of the time. 70%. And yet they are the best in the game. The greatest hitters don't stop swinging just because they miss. They step up to the plate again and again, knowing that every swing is a chance to connect. Business works the same way. Life works the same way. The only way to get better is to take more swings. You can't avoid failure. You can only decide whether you'll let it stop you or push you forward. Most people never even try because they're so afraid of failing. But think about that for a second. They fail by default. They don't even give themselves a chance to win because they're too scared to lose. That's the ultimate failure, not trying at all. Successful people don't waste time dwelling on failures. They analyze, adjust, and take another shot. They don't sit around feeling sorry for themselves. They don't complain. They don't make excuses. They learn what they need to learn and get back in the game. Failure isn't fun, it's painful, it's frustrating, it knocks the wind out of you, but that's what separates the winners from the quitters. Winners take the hit and keep moving. Quitters take the hit and walk away. Resilience is everything. The people who build wealth, the people who change industries, the people who make an impact, they don't let setbacks stop them. They keep swinging, no matter how many times they strike out, because they know that every failure gets them closer to the breakthrough. Bet on yourself. No one else will. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success. If you want something, you have to go get it. The most successful people in the world didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for someone to believe in them. They bet on themselves when no one else would. Most people look for external validation. They want approval before they take action. But waiting for someone else to believe in you is a guaranteed way to stay stuck. The people who win are the ones who believe in themselves first. They don't wait for certainty. They don't wait for the right moment. They take risks on themselves and figure it out along the way. If you don't bet on yourself, why should anyone else? Investors don't back people who hesitate. Customers don't buy from people who lack confidence. Leaders don't follow people who second guess themselves. You have to decide that you're worth the risk. You have to back yourself even when no one else does. Most people play small because they're afraid of looking stupid. They fear judgment. They fear failure. But playing it safe is the riskiest thing you can do. The only way to win big is to take bold risks. And that starts with believing in yourself when no one else does. Success isn't about being the smartest or the most talented. It's about having the guts to keep going when others doubt you. It's about making moves before you feel ready. It's about trusting yourself enough to take the leap, even when the odds aren't in your favor. Look at every self-made success story. The common factor? They bet on themselves. They put in the work before they saw results. They made sacrifices. They faced rejection, and they kept going anyway. If you want success, you have to do the same. Stop waiting. Stop looking for guarantees. Bet on yourself. Action creates confidence, not the other way around. Most people think confidence comes first. They think they need to feel ready before they take action, but confidence doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. You don't wake up one day feeling unstoppable. You build confidence by taking action, failing, learning, and improving. People who win don't wait to feel confident. They move forward while they're still scared. They take action even when they doubt themselves. And in the process, they develop real confidence, the kind that comes from experience, not theory. If you wait to feel ready, you'll never start. Confidence isn't a requirement for action. It's the result of action. The more you do, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more capable you feel. And the more capable you feel, the bigger risks you take. That's how confidence is built. People who hesitate, overthink, and delay are stuck because they don't understand this. They assume confident people were always that way, but confidence isn't a personality trait. It's a skill. It's something you develop by taking imperfect action over and over again. The first time you do anything, you're going to suck. That's normal. The only way to get better is to keep doing it. Confidence isn't about never failing. It's about knowing that failure won't stop you. The more you push through discomfort, the stronger you get. Most people never take action because they don't want to look foolish. But the only way to gain confidence is to embrace the discomfort. You have to put yourself in situations where you don't feel ready. You have to act before you have all the answers. You have to jump before you see the net. Look at the most successful people in the world. They weren't confident when they started. They were just willing to take action despite their fears. They put in the reps. They built experience. And over time, they became unstoppable. If you want confidence, stop waiting. Start doing. Obsession beats talent. Talent is overrated. The world is filled with talented people who never did anything significant. What separates the winners from the rest is obsession. The people who dominate aren't the ones with the most natural ability. They're the ones who eat, sleep, and breathe their mission. They don't dabble. They don't treat success like a hobby. They go all in. Obsession makes you relentless. It makes you immune to distractions. It makes you push past exhaustion, rejection, and failure. The average person quits when things get tough. The obsessed person keeps going because they can't imagine doing anything else. That's the difference. Look at the greats in any industry. They weren't just good at what they did. They were consumed by it. They studied harder, practiced longer, sacrificed more, not because they had to, but because they couldn't stop. That's the level of intensity success requires. If you aren't obsessed, someone else will be. And they'll win. Control your time or be controlled. Time is the most valuable asset you have. If you don't control it, someone else will. Most people waste time on meaningless distractions, letting others dictate their schedule. The successful, they guard their time like their life depends on it, because it does. Look at your day. How much of it is spent on things that actually move you forward? How much is wasted on things that don't matter? The truth is, most people don't lack opportunity. They lack discipline with their time. Successful people don't do busy work. They don't waste hours scrolling, gossiping, or reacting to other people's agendas. They operate with purpose. They focus on high-impact activities. They know that every wasted minute is a step further from their goals. The secret isn't having more time, it's using time differently. The people who get ahead aren't necessarily smarter, they just manage their time better. They cut out distractions. They say no to anything that doesn't align with their vision. They create, execute, and build while everyone else is consuming. That's the game. Your network is your shortcut. Success isn't just about what you know, it's about who you know. The right connections open doors that skills alone never will. The people you surround yourself with determine your standards, your mindset, and your opportunities. Winners know this, so they build relationships strategically. They don't waste time with negative, small-minded people. They seek out mentors, high achievers, and action takers who challenge them to level up. Most people stay stuck because they refuse to change their environment. They take advice from people who have never built anything. They listen to friends and family who don't understand their vision. But real growth happens when you get around people who are playing the game at a higher level. Success leaves clues. The fastest way to accelerate your growth is to learn from those who have already done what you're trying to do. Get in the right rooms, build real relationships, surround yourself with winners. Discipline crushes motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Some days you feel unstoppable and other days you don't feel like doing anything. The difference between people who win and people who stay stuck: discipline. The ability to show up and do the work even when they don't feel like it, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one is watching. Motivated people start, disciplined people finish. That's why discipline always wins. The ones who rely on motivation burn out the moment things get hard, but disciplined people, they push through. They execute whether they're inspired or not. They understand that success isn't about feelings, it's about consistency. Every great achievement is built on discipline. The top athletes train when they don't feel like it. The top entrepreneurs work on their craft when no one is clapping for them. They don't negotiate with themselves. They don't wait to feel ready. They stick to the plan day in and day out, because they know that over time, discipline beats everything else. So now you know. Now you see it clearly. Success isn't luck. It's not magic. It's not reserved for the chosen few. It's built step by step, brick by brick, through discipline, through obsession, through the choices you make every single day. It's about who you surround yourself with. It's about how you manage your time. It's about whether you rely on motivation or build unshakable discipline. The people at the top, they didn't wait for an invitation. They didn't sit around hoping for the perfect moment. They took control. They made the tough choices. They did what others were afraid to do. And now it's your turn. No more excuses. No more hesitation. You have everything you need to start right now. This is Tony Robbins' track. If this hit you, if this fired you up, if this woke you up, then you know what to do. Get out there and make it happen.